Hello everyone and welcome back to Cooledtured. Today we're going to be counting down the top 30 game titles that are notorious for giving gamers a fight for their lives. Every genre counts, as long as the games are hard to put down, because you might rage quit before you beat them. Number 30, Geometry Dash. Geometry Dash packs over 20 challenging levels into its fast-paced side-scrolling gameplay, so as you progress, the obstacles ramp up in difficulty, testing your reflexes and your skills. With intense music heightening up the pressure, this game keeps you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. Number 29, Neo. Now we're shifting gears into the world of Souls-like games, where difficulty is practically the genre staple. Neo plunges its players into a difficult world with ruthless enemies, with intense hack-and-slash gameplay and relentless boss fights. Mastering the combat demands grit and practice. But for those who persevere, the rewards are worth it. Number 28, XCOM 2. XCOM 2 is known for its punishing difficulty even on its easiest setting. With a challenging turn-based tactical gameplay, players often find themselves sweating bullets as they try to navigate through it. The enemy AI is highly effective in always keeping players on their toes and maintaining a relentless pressure. Victories in XCOM 2 truly feel earned, often follow up many fails. Number 27, Faster Than Light. Faster Than Light may not seem that difficult at first, but one slip up can cost your whole entire game. As you guide your spacecraft through 8 sectors, facing constant barrage of threats, damage will occur instantly if you take any, leaving no room for error. With no set path for victory, you need to be quick thinking and creative. While this game is challenging, the game promises an excellent spirits, though be ready for some rage-inducing moments. 26 is Shinobi. In Shinobi, playing slow is not an option at all. The protagonist's sword relies on quick kills to stay strong. Fail to keep this pace up, and you find yourself exposed. This mechanic creates a tense and fast-paced experience, testing the player's ability to fight under pressure. Number 25, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES. Childhood favorites can turn out surprisingly tough, especially for this game. This side-scrolling beat-em-up throws players into tight spaces with swarms of enemies. With limited moves and low health makes this game especially hard, making it feel unfair at times. Even the platforming is brutal in this game. While this game is not universally loved, its difficulty often overshadows its fun. Number 24, Hades. Hades revived the roguelike genre with its intense difficulty. Death is basically unavoidable as you return to the underworld repeatedly. The hack-and-slash combat is thrilling but can be a bit chaotic at times, leading to button mashing when feeling overwhelmed. However, Hades' charm lies in its challenging nature, pushing you to improve on each attempt. Number 23, The Legend of Zelda: The Adventures of Link. Zelda 2 remains a standout in the franchise even after so many decades. Its 2D side-scrolling style offers a very fresh take in Hyrule, but it's tough. Playing feels like a constant rush, much like Super Mario Enemy Swarm, demanding quick reflexes and combat mastery. Combat segments are no walk in the park either, keeping players on edge. With a limited amount of lives, the pressure is on. Yet overcoming its challenges brings immense satisfaction and the ultimate bragging rights of surviving Hyrule's dangers. Number 22, Returnal. Returnal embraces its difficulty from the very start, as it warns players up front about its unforgiving nature, and it delivers on that promise. Each death sends you back to the very beginning of your run, with a horror-filled atmosphere and relentless enemies, making it pretty tough for newcomers. While this game is pretty frustrating, it is pretty addictive, but if you're easily discouraged, Returnal may not be the game for you. Number 21, Ninja Gaiden for the NES. Before its 3D era, Ninja Gaiden left its mark in 2D gaming. Despite its pixelated graphics, it's a tough nut to crack. Even with unlimited lives, conquering it is no small feat. With tricky platforming and hordes of enemies awaiting you at each level, and also introducing boss fights pretty early on, requiring trial and error defeat, it's a pretty hard game. Though it's shorter than some, it may take some time to beat, but that time can feel like an eternity. Number 20, Gradius. In 1985, Gradius changed the game for space shooters like Space Invaders and Galaga. Unlike the slow enemy movements and predictable patterns in those games, Gradius introduced a complex enemy movement that would catch players off guard. It is a very early example of the bullet hell shooter genre and is known for being very punishing and likely drained many gamers' quarters. Number 19, Vivi. Spikes have always played gamers since the dawn of gaming, but they've never been more infuriating than in this game. Released in 2010, this indie title is completely packed with them, and instead of jumping, you need to rapidly reverse the game's gravity to clear pits. It is way easier said than done, with complex and tricky level design that makes you want to pull out your hair. Finishing this game under 2 hours seems nearly impossible, but for the skilled gamers, they can manage it. Number 18, Ikaruga. If Gradius was too tough for you, then this game is going to be your ultimate nightmare. Ikaruga resembles other bullet hell shooters, but with an added twist. You can change your ship's polarity to negate bullets or to destroy specific enemies. It's a simple concept on paper. It's going to throw a ton of challenges at you, and also a ton of bullets. One wrong move, and then you're toast. Number 17, Silver Surfer. This side-scrolling shooter is infamous for being extremely difficult. Nearly everything can kill you in one hit in this game, from enemies' projectiles to even a wall. Needless to say, this game was incredibly frustrating and likely led to many broken controllers. And the tantrum this caused for younger players must have been legendary. Number 16, F-Zero GX. The F-Zero franchise is renowned for its breakneck speed and challenging tracks, but F-Zero GX on the GameCube takes the cake. With its visually stunning 60 frames per second, this game's fast-paced action sequences could be a bit too much for some players to handle, and the steep learning curve often resulted in vehicles exploding before completing its second lap. Yet for those who conquered its unforgiving controls, F-Zero GX offered an exhilarating and rewarding experience. Number 15, Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening. Dante's Awakening thrusts players into intense action with a complex combat system that focuses on stylish combos and mastering various fighting styles. Even on the easiest settings, it could be tougher for newcomers due to the relentless enemies. Mastering Dante's weapons and abilities may take some time and practice, but for those who have that time and invest in that time, Devil May Cry 3 offers a very highly satisfying combo experience and a stylish goth atmosphere. Number 14, Takashi's Challenge. Takashi's Challenge is a quirky game show simulator based on a popular Japanese variety show. It features a series of bizarre and often unfair mini games that are very much impossible that Number 13, Ghosts and Goblins. Ghosts and Goblins is a tough side-scrolling action game inspired by those classic arcade titles. It is filled with enemies and a single-hit death system. Also, when you try to collect power-ups, you're still vulnerable. Platforming sections are tricky and demand precision. It's a game that requires a lot of patience, and you better not get frustrated. 12, Cuphead. Cuphead may look cute, but it's a tough run-and-gun game. Boss battles are the main challenge in this game, and each one has their own unique attacks and precise timing. Even regular enemies are tough. Testing your reflexes is the key thing about this game. While this game is visually stunning, it gets hard very fast, and it leads to frustration. But if you keep at it, Cuphead brings a satisfying feeling once you finish the game. Number 11, Ghouls and Ghosts. Here's another entry for the single-hit death genre of video games. Ghouls and Ghosts, the sequel to Ghosts and Goblins, takes everything that's frustrating about the original game and cranks it up by 11. Not only that are enemies relentless, but the level design accurately works against you, with pits and traps strategically placed wherever you turn. This game also features a unique mechanic where every time you die, you become weaker and weaker. This adds to an extra layer of stress while you try to navigate their treacherous endeavors. Number 10, Contra Hardcore. Contra Hardcore ramps up the difficulty of the original game by 100. Enemies attack from all directions and hazards would kill you instantly. Perfect timing and control mastery is essential for this game and essential for you to survive. This game includes a challenging boss fight that requires strategic weapons and power-ups to use. And remember, every death is your fault. Number 9, Super Meat Boy. Super Meat Boy is an indie fan favorite, well known for its precise platforming and mastercore gameplay. Levels are brutally tough, packed with spikes and hazards that spell instant death. Navigating requires speed and precision. With one misstep, it's going to make you go back to the very start. While the constant death may be frustrating for some, mastering a challenge stage brings some sense of reward for others. Number 8, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! The classic NES game is its own unique case. While the controls are pretty simple, mastering the game's unique mechanics to defeat each boxer is incredibly challenging. Each opponent has their very own tells and patterns that you need to learn and exploit. One wrong move and you're going to be seeing some stars. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! Is a game that demands practice and observation skills. Beating Mike Tyson himself is truly a badge of honor. Number 7, Battletoads. Get ready for a tough childhood memory. Battletoads is a challenging side-scrolling beat-em-up game with lots of enemies and some pretty difficult controls that are quite tricky. But the hardest part of this infamous game is the speeder bike level. You need perfect timing and control to avoid falling off the ramps, and many players still struggle to this day with this level, making it a legendary among the tough games. Number 6, Dark Souls. Dark Souls, the action RPG, sets the standard for tough games. It's not an easy game at all. This game tosses you into a harsh world with very little help. Enemies are tough, and you need to plan every encounter very carefully. But the real test is the boss fights. These huge challenges need tons of skills and tons of patience. You have to learn how the characters move and find their weaknesses. You'll die a lot, but at the end, once you defeat them, it's just a win. It feels amazing. Number 5, I want it to be Boshi. This game is a nod to old school platformers, and it's full of challenges like pits, traps, and tricky enemies, and also very difficult controls. How fun. But if you like tough games, beating this game feels great. It takes a lot of skills and never giving up, but once you do it, it feels just fantastic. 4, Getting Over It. This is a strange indie game. You're a man stuck in a cauldron and use a hammer to climb a mountain. The controls are weird, the whole entire scheme is weird, and the physics are unpredictable. But underneath is a deep and rewarding experience. It's all about trial and error in this game. Each mistake makes you learn something new, and helping you figure out what you have to do for the future. Number 3, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. The sequel to the original Super Mario Bros. Is notoriously a very tough challenge. It's packed with surprises like fake warp pipes and hidden pitfalls, and even the Mario experts have struggles with this tricky level design. Some might think it's too hard, as others see it as a bit of a challenge. Beating this game requires a lot of skill and patience, but it's beloved by so many gamers. Number 2, Ninja Gaiden for the Xbox. The Xbox reboot for Ninja Gaiden was even tougher than the NES version. The 3D action is filled with non-stop enemies and tough boss fights. The combat is complex, needing players to master the combos and techniques. One mistake can mean the game is completely over, and the game's not afraid to be tough at all. But those who stick around for Ninja Gaiden is often rewarded with a combat system and a very satisfying mean of success. Number 1, Sekiro's Shadows Die Twice. From the creators of Dark Souls comes a game that's incredibly difficult. Sekiro chooses everything up, making players learn a unique combat style based on parrying attacks. Every fight is tense, the bosses are super hard, and you need perfect timing and skill to defeat any character that comes your way. And one mistake makes you lose the whole entire battle. There you have it, folks. This is the list of the toughest video games of all time. These games really push you to your limits, but if you stick with them, it's a great feeling once you succeed. What are the toughest games that you ever played? Comment down below and don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button for more gaming content.